And welcome into another episode of Fantasy Football Academy. As always, I am the Dean of the Academy, and I'd like to welcome you in. Just to let you know, this episode is going to be all about mistakes made during the draft. That's right. Today's episode is 8 draft mistakes. Things at the end of the draft, please don't find yourself in this category. I've come up with 8 commonly made mistakes that everyone at some point in time has made. And you know, when you get to the end of your draft, if you've done one before, and you look at your roster and you go, why did I do that? I'm about to explain maybe some of the reasons why your roster isn't what you pictured at the end of the draft. Everyone's got this picture in their head of what their roster is going to look like at the end of the draft. And at the end of every draft, it doesn't look like what you had on paper. Here's why. So here's what we're going into, guys. Number 1, I call this name blindness. That's right, name blindness. You know, we've all been blinded at some point in time in our life, and we just don't see things clearly because of what we're looking at. And that's what happens during the draft. You draft a player solely based on their name. You know what I'm talking about, Drew Brees fans. You know what I'm talking about, Odell Beckham Jr. fans. Guys who you thought were going to be something, and they wind up biting you in the butt about halfway through the season. You're realizing, I shouldn't have let those guys go. So, don't be blinded by the name. Do your research. Look at the situation that they're in. If they're in a bad situation, don't rely on their name to get you points. It ain't going to happen. Okay? They've got to be in a good situation. They've actually got to have some stuff left in the gas tank. Just because these guys have been playing for a while, a la Tom Brady or David Johnson, look, just because these guys change teams doesn't mean they're going to be reborn. Okay? I know Brady is considered the GOAT. Personally, I'll beg to differ on that one, but that's for another episode, okay? So, don't be blinded by the name, okay? Number 2, hit by or riding the hype train. That's right. You've seen the episodes on your NFL network, on ESPN. Who's on the hype train? Okay, who's hopping on that week for the flavor of the week? The guy who just came out of nowhere. Maybe Derrick Henry, who came on at the end of last year. Had a phenomenal tail end of the season. But do you really want him in a PPR? Probably not. Okay? And any terminology that I'm using, guys, I know some of you are new, and I know some of you may not grasp everything I'm talking about. So please, that's what the comment section's for. Leave me a comment right down there, okay? And while you're down there, remember to subscribe, like, and share on all your social media platforms, okay? So, back to the mistakes. Like I said, hit by or riding the hype train. The hype train's no joke. It's for real, okay? You can either hop on and you're riding this guy and you get on early. Perfect example, last year, Kenyon Drake, running back, got gone in Miami, finds new life in Arizona. Here's what happened. He got away from Adam Gase. Okay? Now, Adam Gase is in New York with the Jets. I'm telling you guys, stay away from Le'Veon Bell. Okay? Not only is that name blindness, you're also maybe riding that hype train. He's not what he was in Pittsburgh. Okay? Hands off, please. So, don't hop on the hype train when you shouldn't be, and don't get hit by it, okay? Getting hit by the hype train means that you're buying into that, okay? That you're buying into the hype. That David Johnson's going to find the fountain of youth in Houston. Really? Look at the running backs that they've had in the past, and look at what they're doing right now. They got rid of DeAndre Hopkins in probably one of the worst trades of the offseason on their end. Arizona ditched not only a dead weight running back, but a ton of cap space. Okay? So, they got rid of DeAndre. What have they done since then? They've signed 2 other receivers, not running back. It's 2 other receivers. There's no O-line. Okay? These guys are built to pass. They're not built to run. Okay? David Johnson ain't going to be what he used to be. Yeah, he was a great fantasy football player a couple of years ago. Right now, watch out. Buyer beware on this one. So, here's the next thing. We all know that there's going to be that one guy in your draft who's what we call a homer. Now, what's a homer, you might ask? Glad you did. A homer is somebody who has their home team down here in Louisiana. It's the Saints. For me personally, without hard Redskin, come on now. But I'm not taking Terry McLaurin, a wide receiver, in the 3rd round just because I think he might be worth it. Okay? Not falling for the local flavor. That's the next mistake you make. You're looking at your favorite team and wanting to root for them so bad on fantasy football that you're going to take that one guy that you probably should just leave alone way too early. Last year in our draft, you saw him on the last episode, my buddy Daniel, D-Money. Look, I love D-Money to death, but last year, his number 1 overall pick, 1st round, was Drew Brees. Yes, you're not going deaf here. There's nothing wrong with the audio. He took Drew Brees, number 1, in his fantasy football draft. Now, not going to lie, love Drew Brees to death. Phenomenal fantasy quarterback. Has weapons out the wazoo. Okay? Just got Emmanuel Sanders. Another weapon. Okay? Look in the draft for them to add another quarterback. A lot of predictions are saying Jordan Love. But I'm telling you, don't go too early. Okay? There's nothing wrong with taking your favorite guy from your favorite team on your fantasy league. But please don't take him earlier just so you can have him. Okay? Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to have, but we're in it to win it. Okay, guys? There's nothing more fun than winning in fantasy football. You don't want to just take the guy and lose. Maybe you might get him in a trade later in the year. You never know. But like I said, stay away from the local flavor. Keep a tight grip on that, all right? The lemming effect is our next one. The lemming effect, number 4 on my list. This is when somebody takes a player in any certain position and they have what's called a run on the position. Now, a lot of times this is going to happen probably 4th, 5th round. You're going to have somebody's going to take a quarterback, somebody's going to take a tight end, and everybody else that comes after that, they're going to jump on that train. They're going to be like, hey, I've got to get this guy. Hey, I've got to get this guy. He's going to be gone. Let's say it's a tight end, okay? Man, they just took Travis Kelce and George Kittle. I've got to get Mark Matthews or Mark Andrews now. No, you don't. Slow up. Because after Kelce and Kittle, if you remember back on my one episode where I did the terminology, this is where you go talent drop-off. Okay? Talent drop-off is where you have a couple of guys who are up here, and then everybody else below them is pretty much the same. They're pretty much interchangeable. There's a lot of tight ends out there. After you get past Kittle and Kelce. Andrews, okay, I'll throw him in there too. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys out there that you can get in later rounds, and you can fill that spot that you're looking to fill with a much more productive player, running back, wide receiver, okay, that he's going to be a better fit for you right there. So, let's not be lemmings. Let's not just all go mindlessly off some cliff somewhere in fantasy land and fall off and just follow just to follow, all right? Be a leader. That's what you're tuning in for, okay? Next, OSOM. Let that sink in for a second. OSOM. Out of sight, out of mind. The best example of this year is A.J. Green. You heard me. A.J. Green is coming back to the fantasy football world. He's had an entire year to get well, and they franchise tagged him at the behest of their soon-to-be #1 draft pick, Joe Burrow. If there's anyone out there who is even contemplating the fact that the Bengals are going to trade out of the #1 spot and let Joe Burrow go, you done lost your mind. Okay? And if I'm wrong, I will come right back here on this set and I will tell you. But I'm telling you right now, a week from this Thursday, today's the 14th, Tuesday, a week from this Thursday, the NFL draft is going to happen. It's going to be virtual because of the whole COVID-19 thing. So, here's the thing. AJ Green has been gone from the fantasy football world for a long time. There's going to be people who do not even remember that he's out there. So, you're going to be able to get him a lot later than you normally would. He will be a phenomenal wide receiver. And he's going to be a wide receiver 1. Okay, there's nobody else on the Bengals. Yeah, they got Tyler Boyd. But come on, guys. AJ Green, he's coming back. Mark my words. Late round exhaustion. Yeah, I know. You get down to round 12, 13, you're just like, man, I don't care. Give me Joe Montana as my backup. It doesn't matter. No, it matters. It matters. Because this round, the late rounds, is when you find the guys who make or break your fantasy year. I myself was fortunate enough in the later rounds to get Lamar Jackson last year as my backup after I'd already taken Jared Goff as my starter. Yeah, I know. The Jared Goff thing didn't work out, but hey, I was able to draft really, really late the league MVP. Come on. #1 quarterback scorer in all of fantasy. I don't think I did that bad. Make sure that you're not exhausted at the end. Okay? You got to keep that momentum up. You got to keep sharp. All right? So, the ninth one. We're almost done, guys. Hang in there. Remember, late round exhaustion. Here we go. Push through it. So, what have you done for me lately? Yeah, I know. Those of you who are old enough like me to remember that song way back in the day, what have you done for me lately? Okay? That's what fantasy players get caught up with. Okay? They're worried about a player that maybe they fell off a little bit. What did they do in the later round of the season? Did they fall off? I.e. Amari Cooper? Look, Amari Cooper was phenomenal the first half of the season. Then he got dinged up, came back. He was never the same. That's what's going to stick in everyone's mind. Everyone's mind sticking with these guys who fell off at the end of the year. Or the guys who did phenomenal, like Kenyon Drake. Now, I'm a big Kenyon Drake fan. He was on my roster. Love the points that he got me. But I'm going to be very smart about when I draft him. Okay? If I can get a hold of him. Okay? Because somebody's going to jump up and somebody's going to remember that he was a beast toward the end of the year. What they're going to forget is that he floundered in Miami. So, we got a half a season on one player where, hey, he might be that, he might not be. Who knows? He's in a great situation. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, don't rely on the past performance, okay, to be your only guide. All right? Now, this last one, this is for all you guys out there who sit around and with your buddies, you throwing some back and you're having a good time. Guys, listen. I hope you're not drinking right now. I hope if you are, hold on, put it down, grab a pencil, piece of paper, something. Write this down. Don't drink and draft. This ain't driving. Your friends will let friends draft drunk. That's right. You heard me. There was a guy who I know lost his fantasy league and had to take a blow-up doll on a date. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm not. You cannot make this up. Because he was drafting drunk. Didn't even remember half of his draft. Guys, don't drink and draft. This PSA has been brought to you by Fantasy Football Academy and the Dean. Guys, that's all the time I got. I would like to send a special shout out to Zia of Lafayette. Listen, if you're out there in the Lafayette area and you're looking for something new for dinner for the family, give them a call. They're on Waiter, they're on DoorDash. Call them up, place an order, and if you're in the Lafayette community, remember, keep calm and carry out. Okay? Let's give our restaurant some love through this whole COVID-19 pandemic, and let's stick together. Remember, we're all in this together, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you subscribe, like, share, and remember, stay tuned. I got a special episode coming up next time. We're going to be going over with all the fantasy relevant free agent moves, all the trades with my boy D Money. That's right, D Money's back for a second episode by popular demand. Listen, you want to see somebody on? You want to be on yourself? Hey, hit me up down in the comments section below. Please leave me a comment. If you prefer email, then you can hit me up on Fantasy Football Academy 2020. I am the Dean. That is at Gmail. All right. So Fantasy Football Academy 2020 at Gmail. Hit me up. All your questions, anything that you want answered, I will answer. Any comments you have, I'll be happy to hear them. And guys, stay strong. Stay in this together. We're all here. Let's make the best of it. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.